welcome back to the best weight loss podcast in the world. We got a couple tall, dark, and handsome and other hosts for you today. I'm the fatty daddy himself, Danny Mabley, and to my right, we have the Italian stallion, John Arpino.
How you doing?
How you doing, man? I'm excited for today. We have a fun one for you today, folks. We have a very special guest. We've been talking about it for a long time, bringing a woman on to the podcast because there's enough testosterone on this podcast. And so today we have I would say one of the fastest growing,
For sure.
like women in the health and weight loss space of the internet. She's lost a total of around 130 pounds plus with or through some sort of bariatric surgery. We'll find out which one in a bit. But we have Natalia Aranda with us today, aka at Lose It with Nat. What's up, Nat?
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited.
I feel like that was pretty good.
I feel like you did
Fucked
it
it up
right.
a little bit,
You did
but
pretty well.
not too bad, not too shabby.
I really expected a car crash, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Thanks
for the
round of support.
Yeah,
Butcher my
absolutely.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have it here from here on out for sure. But yeah, super excited to have you on. Like you said, we wanted to have kind of a different perspective on the pod, but also the name of the podcast, Cheating on Fat. The whole point of that is that it's kind of like playing off the words of, people think that surgery or a GLP-1 is cheating in a way. So a lot of people on here who are listening are in the midst of their weight loss journeys or have had surgery or are on a GLP-1. So let's just start off at the beginning of kind of your story, as far back as you want to go, and then kind of inch towards, the decision you made to have the surgery, and then we'll kind of go from there.
My earliest memories already, I kind of knew I was different. I remember going into a store called Justice, which is, a store for little girls. And my sister, who's only a year younger than me, was one of the smallest sizes, and I was the biggest size. I remember the following year, all the girls my age was wearing Justice, and I was already too big to fit into it. In sixth grade, I was already a size 9, and I'm a size 6 now. So it's kind of insane to me that I was smaller at that age than almost 30 years old now. The first time I downloaded a calorie counting app, I was 12 years old. So around, when all the womanly things start happening. So it's kind of been attached to my identity for as long as I can remember. I've always knew I was different. But it wasn't until after I had my son, until I was 20 years old, that it really started affecting me physically, where it wasn't just something about my body image. It was something about my health and how I felt and how I was able to navigate life.
Yeah.
So then I was referred to bariatric surgery, and I was in the program for...
Before the surgery, you mentioned you kind of downloaded a calorie app and stuff. So was dieting something that was for you, was something that you thought about? Was it something that was pushed on you from family?
So calorie counting itself was not pushed onto me by my family, but I was getting comments about my body constantly. I was being told, make sure you don't eat that, or you can't eat that until you do this, or I was being told, go on a walk on the treadmill first, things like that. As being young, we had a treadmill in our living room. So I grew up kind of with not the best relationship with food. My mom, unfortunately, has a mom who had binge eating disorder really bad, and she still struggles with that to this day in her 80s. So because of how my mom saw her mom grow up, she didn't want that for me, and my mom was doing the best that she could, but that resulted in me struggling with obesity.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then you get to the point where surgery is an option.
Yes. So I was in the bariatric program a total of 2 years. The first year I was learning about it, I wasn't 100% sure that, it was for me, but I was going to the appointments, I was doing the things, I was meeting with the dietitian, doing the nutrition classes. And that year I was in the gym. I was doing my best. I was, tracking my food. I think I lost maybe 5 pounds, and I was supposed to lose over 20 to qualify for surgery.
What age were you?
I'm 27 now. I think it was 24.
Okay.
I think it was 24. This was when I was 24. because maybe 23, 24. Yeah. So then I remember my doctor telling me, hey, you've already been in the program for a year. We have to start the whole referral process over. So I had to completely start from scratch as if I had a brand new referral, doing the labs, doing all the testing, all that. And I was under my dad's insurance at the time, which was going to cover for the insurance as long as I was covered by age 26, right? That's the protocols for insurance. So I kind of had a time limit to get it. And I think that was a big motivator for me. And also, just trying really hard, trying to lose it on my own, and only losing 5 pounds despite all my efforts was kind of like my health issues is declining. I need to lose weight or else I'm going to keep going down. My son's getting older. I need to take care of him. I was calling out of work because of my medical issues. I was not being able to keep up with my son. It was like it controlled like every part of my life, I felt like, So last year in August, I had the gastric sleeve. I had it. It was a rough time. I was able to lose 21 pounds prior to my sleeve, which I was able to do through low carb. So as soon as I switched my macros up to low carb, I finally started like really seeing a difference with, my weight loss. And then since then to now, which I'm about 14 months post-op, I lost a total of 134 pounds.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, I hit my goal weight 9 months out. Almost the 10-month mark. I hit my goal weight of 165.
Wow.
I'm 155 now.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congrats.
I never thought I would ever be this.
That's really awesome.
I didn't know it was that recent. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I had no idea that you're only like a year and 2 months out.
Like you're still kind of in the midst of the journey. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, I guess I found, followed you close to just the end because it's pretty recent. And yeah, I for some reason, just off your vibe of your content, I just always figured you were kind of in that, like I did it a while ago, but now I'm in like a building stage.
I've been doing like the low carb. I've been doing like the low carb for like over 2 years, and I would say I have a lot of experience with trying to lose weight because I feel like I've been on a weight loss journey for my whole life, and I feel like for the first time now, I'm actually like, okay, I lost a little bit more than I wanted to lose, but I'm okay with that. Now I just want to build muscle and maintain, and like, just what does my life look like now?
Right.
Because I never stepped on the scale and was happy with that number, or my doctor was happy with that number.
Right.
It was all, every single appointment, you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. Every single appointment.
So what are the biggest impacts that having surgery has had on you, obviously besides the weight loss? Like, because to me, I feel like the surgery itself is so much bigger than just losing weight,
Yes. So I had medical issues before. I was pre-diabetic, I had insulin resistance. I had really bad asthma. I had chronic back pain. I, like really crazy things. So all of those I've been able to, say goodbye to.
Nice.
Another thing is being able to keep up with my son has been the biggest thing for me. I didn't realize how much obesity really controlled me until I lost the weight. Before, I would have to go on Yelp and literally look at the tables and chairs before I accepted dinner invites to make sure that I could fit into those tables.
Right.
When I realized I don't have to do anything like that is crazy. Every time I would take my son to Six Flags, I'd have to make sure someone came with me because I knew I could not go on every single ride with him, and he would want to go on every single ride.
Right.
Yeah, I've been there.
I just think the most important thing, the biggest change for me is I'm able to be the mom that I've always wanted to be. Present, have energy when he wants to go to the park. I'm not telling him I'm too tired to go anymore. Just having the energy to keep up with him,
That's awesome.
Because I felt a lot of guilt when I was so big that I would struggle to even get off the couch sometimes.
Right.
And my son wanted to do things. And it's not because I was a bad mom. I had no energy sometimes. you know, I would have to like roll myself out of bed because that's how big I was, you know.
Yeah, I feel that I with Maple, my daughter, obviously I don't have the struggle of what I know some moms go through with that kind of guilt and what that would be like. But just even being there as like a dad during the times that I am, when I was at my peak heaviest, I always used to, we were just, last visit I went with her, I was noticing really like how much more I'm able to move around with her. And part of it though is even like looking back at before, like I would always be there, but I would always be very tired. And I remember that I would like tell myself like, oh, like the elevation here is different.
Yeah.
That's why I'm tired. Like, you know, and now looking back, I'm like, man, it was just because I was so freaking heavy. Like I had no energy. And so like playing with her and doing simple things, you know, you think like, oh, it's, you know, it doesn't feel like a lot, but then your body's like, okay, well now we got to chill because, you know, you don't do that much usually. So I definitely have noticed even just the 50 pounds or close to 50 pounds that I've lost, how big of a difference is. So you know, it's what kind of excites me and drives me to keep going is that like, you know, what would another 50 pounds be like? Right. You know, it's interesting being in kind of the middle of my second journey, but having all these different aspects of it that I didn't have before. So I can relate definitely to that as a parent, like the struggle of just like, oh man, I got to do something. It's a huge motivator for me for sure. With surgery, you know, me and John have talked about this on previous podcasts. Like we want to keep it real and authentic, you know. You've talked about some of the pros. Did you experience any sort of cons or have you had any like, you know, deficiency effects or anything kind of like common stuff would happen?
Yeah, a couple common things that happened to me that I feel like happen to most bariatric patients is, of course, I went through a phase of hair loss, which is normal. I am a bit anemic. I have iron deficiency, so I do take, you know, my iron at night and everything. The major thing that I was not expecting, that I actually was not aware was a side effect, was being diagnosed with reactive hypoglycemia around like my 10-11 month mark.
Really?
I knew something was wrong because I would get like my heart would start racing. Like I would feel like I'm having an anxiety attack. I would get red. I would start sweating. And one time I was at work because I'm a dental assistant. I almost like fell over on a patient and I was like, something's seriously not right. I went to the doctor. I was letting them know what's going on. I let them know about my history of like insulin issues. So I guess I want to say there was a study done and 20% of sleeve patients in that study were diagnosed with it, and then 30% of bypass patients were with reactive hypoglycemia. So what happens when I have too many carbs in comparison to my fiber and protein intake, or maybe I'm having some processed sugars, something like that, it will spike up my blood sugar, and then like an hour, 2 hours later, it will result in a huge drop, which is when I start to feel that like panic attack, the anxiety attack. So the only way to really manage that is through diet. So my doctor, he told me, I think you can manage it with a diet, because I was so excited, you know, getting to almost my goal weight. I was like, I can reintroduce carbs into my diet. I need carbs. And then I was trying carb cycling to get out of a weight loss stall. And the carb cycling is when I was really like, something's wrong. So, you know, I am a firm believer in whatever diet you do is going to have to be your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So I stick with low carb because I have that hormonal issue of reactive hypoglycemia. If I have too many carbs, I will not have a steady energy level. And that's been kind of hard to navigate, but I'm learning through it. I've been spreading awareness of it. You know, a few girls that followed me, it turns out they did their glucose test and they have it as well. So it's just finding the diet, because I did not want to have to wear a wearable CGM. I did not want to have to do that. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I've actually never heard that. And that's crazy.
When people say like low blood sugar, they're referring to hypoglycemia. Yeah.
Yeah. And they attribute that directly to the
right.
surgery?
That's what I'm saying. I never heard that.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I never heard of it either.
Yeah.
And then started
that's the thing about, you know, not just, you know, whether it be surgeries, GLP-1s, or even just diets, like it really comes down like everyone's different, you know. everyone's going to have a different reaction to certain things. Like, I know obviously some people tried like their first dose of Ozempic and were like, oh, no, absolutely not. Like, I could never do this because I felt like death. So it's very interesting to me how like people can be very similar, but as soon as you start to introduce, you know, outsource things, like everyone reacts differently.
Yeah,
So
once you change things
it's interesting me too with it's cool to hear the reason for the low carb, because, you know, obviously low carb is one of those just, you know, oh yeah, you just said do low carb and you lose weight. And obviously at the end of the day, like I used to be very like, when I first was doing social media back in the day, it was very popular in the weight loss scene to be like anti low carb, because it was like, it's the one that people always use to like try and get people who want to lose weight. And what I ended up maturing into was just like, the reality is there's just so many different things that work for different people. Like even carnivore now, like I'm starting to understand, like, of course I could see some people doing this feeling great and be like, this is the diet for me because I feel the best on it and I want to continue to do that. So like whatever you're going to do, it all comes down to how you feel. And if you're getting the results you want, and you don't feel like it's over restricting your entire life. And I think also the form of restriction that certain people need is different. Like some people can have a little bit of restriction and balance and they can do really well with that. For me, I feel like I'm a very like kind of all or nothing type person, not because that's, you know, mentally how I am, but it's because like if I introduce a little bit of like salty fats or a little bit of sugar, like the entire rest of the day, that's what I want. Yeah. And so for me, like when I was younger, I practiced, you know, and lost the majority of my weight with If It Fits Your Macros. And I just like, that just does not work for me anymore.
That does not work for me. I'm a volume eater, so that's why
you're crazy little
meals. So
and
I can't just do one Oreo.
I feel you.
I can't do that. I rather make my own with, you know, my own ingredients, knowing what's in it, and be able to eat volume. And you know, like the crumble cookie, I cannot. Like that's one thing I cannot do. I rather
800 calories
protein cookie. The 1,000-calorie brownie with like 113 added sugar. I was like, oh my god, this would send me in a coma if I.
And they sell you 4 of them typically.
Yeah.
That's
3,200 calories.
How is this legal?
I still never had crumble.
You've never had crumble?
I've never had crumble.
Oh, wow.
It's like all sugar. It tastes like all just.
I mean, it is a cookie. It makes sense.
No, like bad. Like
it's wild. It's wild for sure. But yeah, you saw the kind of the cool little, you know, foods that you create and put out there. Like those have just really been, you know, a thing that works for you.
Yeah, because I want to enjoy all the same things that I ate before. I know I'm not the type of person where I can have only one bite and be satisfied. So I had to find, you know, different methods to cook it, like my low carb noodles, you know, switching from maybe just the ground beef to super lean ground turkey, etc. So I can have the full plate, because I'm a volume eater. I want to feel satisfied at the end of the meal. I can't have one bite and put it down.
I feel that.
When you used to be obese and used to struggle with your food, you know you can't just do that. You're gonna end up eating the whole box.
Yeah.
So.
Which I think is a really nice testament, because like a lot of people think once you have surgery, like you never eat food again. Like all of a sudden food is just something that's not involved in your life. And I think that it's really the polar opposite, because I'm a lot like you in the sense of like I need volume. Like I need to feel like I just ate a meal. I'm 9 years out from surgery. So obviously it's a little bit different for me. I can eat way more than like a typical sleeve patient at this point now. But even back in the beginning of surgery, like I was hacking so many different types of food because like I wanted to still feel like I was enjoying almost the same meal as my family and satiating myself at the same time. Because I remember the first month, 2 months out from surgery when I didn't know what to eat. Like I was putting together crazy things. Like I look through my camera roll now and I'm like, I was eating like diced up hamburger and like a piece of an egg and like just crazy things. Yeah.
Were you putting it on a wooden cutting board?
No, I was not.
So that's what you were missing out on.
Yes, the wooden cutting board. I've heard so many great things about it.
I haven't on that. You needed to have it on the wooden cutting board.
The wooden cutting board with flake salt.
Yeah, with Redmond's real salt. I just bought some of that.
I'm sure you did.
No joke. I've seen it so many times. Like I need the salt that everyone has. I didn't buy the little bamboo thing. To put it in there.
You're the carnivore Mark.
No, I'm not. Shut up. Anyways, but when we were talking about surgery, it reminded me that we hadn't found out yet. What surgery did you have exactly?
I had the gastric sleeve.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's the most common.
So it's gastric sleeve and then bypass, right?
No, I mean there's a whole bunch that fall also in that category, but yeah, for the most part, the two common are bypass and VSG are the most common.
And is it the sleeve? One of them's like reversible, or is that the old band?
That's the old band.
Oh, okay, they don't do that anymore, right?
They're trying to phase it out.
We'll get in. This will be kind of a segue into social media and stuff, but it's just so funny seeing like I feel like my time of social media, because I feel like this is almost like my second,
absolutely,
kind of like a comeback. Because in it would have been 2014 to 2017 was like when I was like really doing it, and at that time, like there was the brands at that time,
Gymshark and
one you had to be with, and then and now it's all different, and there's like a whole like new group of like weight loss influencers that I know a few of them now, but even some of the bigger ones, I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. It's like the passion of the torch.
It is.
Like social media will leave you behind in 2 seconds.
Fact.
But luckily, I'm funny, so people still get stuff that I make. But no, it's really interesting. Definitely being on social media and losing weight. And for me, we've kind of talked about in the past, like it was a very positive thing, and then it eventually became a negative thing, to where it's the reason I took a break for a few years, because mentally it just became a struggle. And so I know, for me that's one thing, but as a woman, I know that you can just see like. Yes, you guys are more supportive of one another.
Oh, fact.
You have your little communities, and like women support women way more and better than men support men. Fact. But at the same time, you guys get way more hate and way more crazy DMs, I can imagine.
100.
So what has it been like? Like, this growth you've had in this last year.
Yeah.
I think even when I followed you, you were like 130. You're already almost like 200 now. What's that been like?
I've had like a crazy amount of support, but that also comes with a crazy amount of hate comments as well.
Right.
I always have the thought of, as long as I have 2 supporters, I don't care if for every 2 supporters I have 4 haters. As long as I'm inspiring people, I don't care about people who see my posts and they dislike my content. As long as I'm finding my audience and finding the people I'm supposed to be helping. I get comments like, obviously you took the easy way out. You shouldn't be giving any advice because you had weight loss surgery. You shouldn't be posting your recipes because it wasn't the recipes why you lost weight. It was a weight loss surgery. So many comments like that. Down to comments about my character saying, oh, she's so defeated now, all these things. Comments about my body in regards to my loose skin. Just in regards to anything. I could just post something that was trending, a trending sound, and people will find some way to attack my character for it. But then I read DMs and it says something like, hey, I've been following you for 6 months. You've helped me lose 40 pounds. I've been doing your recipes. I've followed you since the beginning. You don't know when someone said, whenever I feel alone, I watch your videos, and it helps me feel like I'm not alone on this bariatric journey. And so many people got the sleeve because, they watched my videos and, they felt like they could do it mentally. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's like that's just like the best thing about it is the lives I've impacted.
People don't understand that, like, yes, of course, there's people that get into social media to make money. They're out there for sure.
Absolutely.
But I feel like the majority of people that I've met in our space, like it really is that. It's the people and the comments that you get and the DMs that you get. Like not even the comments, the DMs that no one else sees. That is like, hey, I think one of the wildest ones I got was like someone had initially started, because we've all got this before. It's like, hey, I saw you at like Target, but I didn't want to come say hi because I didn't want to be weird or whatever. And I'm always like, no, come say hi if you see me. Like, absolutely. And then afterwards, they kind of opened up, just saying how like even just seeing me in public like made them emotional, because like a video that I had made that about my transformation had like kind of like saved their life in a way. And it was like, whew, like when you literally just are yourself and you're just sharing your journey, and it like is a way for other people to feel heard and seen and like be a part of a community that they no longer feel like outcasted from. That is why, man, I do this still. Like, you know, it wouldn't otherwise, honestly, it wouldn't be really worth it. Like, because it's, you know, you do get all the negative stuff. And yeah, if you know, if you're, people don't realize this either, like you have to be very successful to make a decent amount of money on social media.
Correct.
Like you can't just like, oh, I'm just going to go on social media and make money. Like it is not that easy. Yeah. People with K's behind their numbers, like you think, oh, they're making bank. No. For years on social media, I made like just enough to get by. I make way better money now doing not social media and actual business than I did on social media.
Right.
So like to do all that just because like it's a way to like make a living is the minuscule form. And it's something that obviously you wish you can do, because if you then are able to make a living through it, you then can put that much more effort in the content you're making and you know, building your community. So I think that's one part of social media that like there's a lot of negativity that people talk about it with people involved with it. But man, like the community that, you know, that I've been a part of and I'm blessed to be a part of is just, I've met continuous people like you that are just like, yeah, I do this because like it's helping people, you know, and like that's at the end of the day, there's something great about that.
Yeah. I remember when my doctor told me, hey, we're recommending weight loss surgery. You have about 150 pounds to lose. I laughed. I looked at him and I said, no one loses that much weight. I was like, I don't care. I was like, no, I was like, it seems so impossible. Right. I went online. I saw people who lost even more than that, and it was so inspiring. And just seeing those people, even though I was seeing them through a screen, it lit something inside of me. And I was like, I can do this. These people can do it. Why can't I do it? Amen. And now I kind of feel like I'm on the other side of it. And I want people to know, when your doctor's telling you, hey, this is your BMI, this is how much you need to lose, like, you know, you're about to get diabetes, all this stuff, it feels like hopeless. It feels like that's kind of the end of your life. It almost felt like the doctor was telling me this is kind of where it ends for you, like you're going to be the same footsteps as your family. And then because of social media, I realized people out here, they're changing their lives. Why can't I?
Yeah. When did social media, like, did you start out with social media just showing kind of your progress? Like, when did it become like something that you're like, ooh, I kind of like want to do this more?
Yeah, so it started off, the first TikTok I made was my 2-week update. So I wasn't posting prior to weight loss surgery. I just posted, I said, hey, I'm 2 weeks post-op. I think I was down like 40 pounds at that time, or almost 50 pounds pre-op and post-op. And it was on the For You page, building traction. I had so many questions. I started replying to the questions, making follow-up videos. People said I just had surgery as well. I met a couple of my surgery twins on there, and we still keep in touch to this day. And from then I made friends on there. I was posting my 1 month update, my 2-month update. I was posting like the side effects I was feeling. I was just sharing everything, and people out there let me know I wasn't alone in what I was feeling. And I was also like answering questions, because again, being in the bariatric program for 2 years, not knowing if it was right for me, I wanted to answer these questions for people, because I honestly, like, after a few months being post-op, I was like, this surgery really saved my life. Like,
right.
It really saved my life.
Absolutely. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, no one is getting bariatric surgery to lose 25 pounds
for funsies.
Yeah, for funsies, like to look good for the summer. Like, this is a life-changing surgery that is literally correcting a lot of wrongs that have built up in people's lives for decades before, you know, ever
Since
stepping foot in. Yeah, exactly. You know, there's a direct correlation between childhood obesity and the eventual, you know, getting some sort of bariatric surgery, for sure. You know, it's not the route that everybody takes, but it's a route that unfortunately a lot of us have to endure, you know. And I remember when I started on social media, there was little to no guys that were ever talking about bariatric surgery. It was just unheard of back then. And I had started my page just thinking that I was talking to myself, right? Because I was just using it as a journal and just documenting my own stuff and just taking my own pictures and literally just making captions that were literally talking to myself like psycho. And And it caught fire, and one thing led to another, and here we are almost 8 years on social media later and 9 years in this weight loss journey. And that's just the way that it shakes out sometimes, and you connect with people that you would never think would ever take anything from your story or connect with you in any way, and then you realize that you represent people that you never thought you would ever impact. Like I have friends all over this country now because of social media and because of sharing my story and allowing myself to be vulnerable, and same goes for Danny. So like being a woman and having that platform is such an important thing. So like never lose sight of how much good you're doing for the community, because there needs to be more shining lights of people like yourself that are pointing other people in the right direction.
Yeah. A big reason why I was really scared of the sleeve is because I was in the Facebook bariatric groups, and
Those are fun.
it was a lot of negativity, and it made me feel really scared. I would see comments like, "Oh, you can't have any bread, you can't eat
for the rest
eat
of
out
your
again
life.
with your friends, you can't do this and do that." And of course, being an emotional eater, food was a big part of my life, and I was like, okay, even if I'm thin, am I even going to be happy if I can't eat anything? And I want to make sure people understand, that's not what it is. You're still going to enjoy food. You will still be able to enjoy food for enjoyment. Yes, it's different now, but it's not like I would see. I don't know if this was a thing back when you had surgery, but when people had their food funerals.
Oh God. No, please do
And
tell.
they
What is
would
this?
have right before surgery, they would eat this like for a day, like eat like all the like as if they were on death row type of thing.
All right. I mean, I guess I kind of did that, like, but I didn't call it a food funeral.
No, I had a good meal before.
Yeah. What was your last meal? Let's talk about it, actually. What was your last meal?
I had chicken fried rice, California rolls, and chicken teriyaki.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
That was my last meal before I had surgery. But I wasn't calling it a funeral. But on Facebook, they're like, my food funeral. And just the word funeral correlates with death.
Yes, exactly.
Right? You don't come back from death.
No.
I hadn't heard of the twin thing
Very
either.
toxic.
I've heard of the twin thing. I never heard of the food.
John,
funeral.
who's your surgery twin, buddy?
Well, so when you say surgery twin, you mean someone who had surgery on the same day as you? Like the exact...
Yes.
No, I don't know. So if there's anyone out there who had it on November 14th in 2016, 2015, let me know.
You got to put that in your story now and be like, who's my surgery?
Who's my surgery twin?
I have to.
Yeah, who's got motion, twin?
That's great.
Yeah, I have two. We're triplets. One's a woman.
There's triplets, dude. There's triplets.
Snap. That's great. No, when you were just talking about like John, like making like videos, being crazy, talking to yourself. I pulled up one of my first like eating videos from 10 years ago.
Oh, look at him. He's such a cute little boy.
10 years, man.
That's the Danny I remember.
A white rock star.
Yep. That's the Danny I used to follow.
You still follow me.
Do I?
Yeah. No, it's funny. When we're talking about social media, it reminds me. I was going to talk about it. Like, I feel like I stay pretty chill on social media, but y'all are a bunch of savages on your social media.
Really?
You and John both. They're like,
Me? I'm like,
they're
the
like,
nicest
oh, you're going to
guy
talk
in the
smack to
world.
me? Bam. So like transformation video.
Oh.
Hey, or they said I'd never be handsome. And then it's like, John, like,
Yeah, bro. Do you see this face right now? Right now, I look like shit, but on a good day, this face is worth money.
These trolls, I feel like, think no one's ever gonna say anything back to them.
Well, it's a new generation of trolls, brother. That's one thing. Like, I've never dealt with trolls.
Back in my day, it was like, back in my day.
No, I mean, I feel the same way. I never had this before, ever.
So it's funny though, because the trolls nowadays, like
People are making
I
troll
find it-
pages. Like, it's a page that
I'm
they
gonna say
go on
one
to
thing.
troll.
Yes.
I find it way easier to deal with trolls now than I did back when I was getting them, because today and now it's like half of the trolls are like just ridiculous jokes because like they're literally just trying to be trolls to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like stuff that like I could be like, that's terrible, was actually kind of funny. But in my day, it was like, you're a terrible human, and you're like, it was like real like attacks on my personal like.
Yeah.
I could tell you're a douche, and your girlfriend hates you, and like,
Oh my God. I feel like
today.
that's harder to deal with.
I legitimately got called ugly today by a woman for no reason.
oh, I saw that on your story.
Yeah. For no reason.
She's like, I can't fix ugly. I was like,
I was like, what did I do?
John, you're a handsome girl. What you talking about?
You.
Yeah. Face card don't decline.
There's hard no limit.
Dead ass.
Oh man, it's funny. Yeah, no, social media is a wild west of a place.
Well, now it's a
Like
cesspool.
even more.
It's a cesspool now. When you started, it was the Wild West. Then there was the Revolutionary period. Now it's just a fucking cesspool.
Yeah. Well, it's the one part about it that I love now is I feel like, dude, and when I started stuff, like you could only make content to do with what you were like
Amen. Yeah.
doing.
Mhm.
Like back in the day, if I tried to make like anything other than weight loss content, people were like, we don't want this. Get this.
But do you know
garbage
that
out.
I end up
Oh,
staying stuck in that
really?
mentality, and that's I'm stuck in that old mentality of like I have to stick to my shit.
I'm aware of that. No, but like more like
Thanks,
some of my best
Dick.
performing videos are just me being me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I feel like people have the initial reason why they follow you, but the people that I follow, like I am their diehard supporter, is because of their personality, because of the person. So I will like it before I even watch 1 second, and I will watch anything they put out because I feel like they're my friend in a sense. So that's why. It's not because of it's because of the person they are.
I didn't even met John yet when I wanted to start this podcast.
Yeah, fact.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just like connected on like, what was the initial thing?
Oh, I don't even know. Someone wrestling, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was like something to do with weight loss. Then we responded to one of the wrestling things. Then we kind of talked back and forth for a bit.
And then we went on a
This
date.
guy just,
No, it was nice.
I was like, I feel like this guy just gets me.
Yeah.
And I get him. So, and yeah, I was just like, hey, we should start a podcast together after we like talked. Oh no, it was the live. It was the live.
Yes.
It was the live we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
That
a
was our
live
first
talking
date. That's what I was referring to.
about some. Shut up. we we did a live talking about like some joke video that this guy did, which now looking back, I kind of regret because that guy just puts out comedy stuff all the time now.
But he didn't then. Now it's just all comedy stuff.
No, now he does
Yeah.
though. But yeah, we talked about it, and then the conversation just went really well, and made some content from it, and I was like, I wanted to start a podcast at that time, so it just kind of made sense. And then since then, now we're friends.
With the friends. My guy.
Love it. Love it.
Hey, love you, dude. Right here.
Love it.
Cartman now. Yeah, this is what you have to deal with. Our podcast is very chill and very us.
Yeah, it's just us. It's just two
We're
dudes
happy to
hanging
have
out
you
who are
on,
cheating on fat.
to show the. You're like, okay.
Honestly, I want to thank you for adding the pink and sparkle that we needed to the show.
Yeah.
Oh my
Pink and sparkle. What are you talking about? Majority of what she wears is like black.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
If I show you it's like I have like my pink hairbrush right here, my pink stamp,
See? Pink and sparkle,
pink
bro.
carpet.
Yeah, her stuff is pink, but I was gonna say her
Alright.
soul is black. But
Oh my god!
Jesus.
How did you know?
God damn.
no.
Damn, brother.
Do you wear a lot of bright colors anymore?
Nice segue. That was really good. That was a good pivot. That was really good.
She's wearing black.
I wear a lot of black. I wear a lot of black and gray.
Me too.
Thank you. It's not
I'm the
just
same
me,
way.
okay?
I'm the same way.
I'm not just. Yeah, a black. I just like the
That
best.
says the kid in the yellow shirt.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things. I think it's one of those things. If you used to be really fat, then you just
Oh, hell yeah.
used to be.
Hell yeah.
I'm working on it.
It's part of your. It will be part of your identity, no matter
Right.
how much weight you lose.
No, honestly, it was. I just feel like I've gotten the most compliments ever when I've been in a black T-shirt. So, I am black. It is.
Yeah. I like black
It
t-shirts.
brings out your eyes.
Correct. Thank you. Okay. On that note, this has been a great time. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
yeah,
for
it's been cool
having me.
learning some stuff about you. If you had one sentence to say to someone listening or watching that, you know, they're like, I want to lose weight, but I'm not sure how to do it. I'm not sure where to start. What would you tell them?
I would let them know it's about the journey more than the finish line. I would let them know the only way to learn is to try. I would let them know, you know, take the small wins. If you're trying to get into the gym, sometimes just stepping foot in that door is a win. You know, no one is expecting you to be the best at anything. And once you understand that there isn't a finish line, it's just about being 1% better every single day. You kind of take the pressure off and you enjoy the ride, and that is when the real progress starts to happen.
Hell yeah.
I like that.
Love it.
I like that a lot.
Very true too. All right. Well, thank you once again for everyone listening.
Wait, hold on. Where can everyone find you on social media?
Oh yeah. Thanks for being a good co-host.
No problem.
Yeah, where can people get you a follow?
Yeah. You guys can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at Lose It with Nat.
No YouTube coming?
I do have a YouTube, but I only have one video, and I rather have them not see it because it's an unhinged birthday vlog, and it's nothing about weight loss.
Dude, I
But
once
you
put
guys can follow me on there as well. I think it's it's in my link tree.
Okay,
It's
sweet.
in my link
So
tree.
go check her out. Show some love for sure. Yeah, I once put a drunk vlog up on YouTube, and I found that like a few months ago, realized it was still up, and I was like, I'm gonna take this down.
Oh my
Because there was a clip of me dancing with a person I don't remember. not that like I remember that person at the time because I never blacked out in my life. We talked about this before on a podcast.
Yes.
But I was like watching it. I was like, why is this on the internet? Why did I do this?
Why am I incriminating
Freaking
myself?
23-year-old me thinking, oh, this is funny. Yeah, I took that down real quick.
Attaboy.
But yeah, thank y'all for listening, tuning in, checking it out.
Hell yeah.
As always, stay sweet,
Stay sexy.
stay healthy,
Stay accountable.
stay beautiful.
Stay hyphy.
Oh my God. Dude,